This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 13th day of May in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. The Organization of American States Observer Mission for the Guyana elections is maintaining that there were grave errors with the declaration of votes for Region 4, which raised questions about the transparency and credibility of that tabulation process. The head of the OAS Observer Mission, former Jamaican Prime Minister Bruce Golding, reported to the OAS Permanent Council this morning that based on the current recount process so far, it is becoming clear that some of the declarations that were made by the returning officer for Region 4 were tainted.
Up to yesterday, 81 boxes had been recounted for Region 4. Of those 81 boxes, in 20 of those 81 boxes, the votes for ACNU were decreased by 1,536, and the votes for PPP were increased by 177. I made the point earlier, I've never seen such a transparent effort to alter election results.
Mr. Golding also offered examples of changes that occurred in the vote count in specific boxes in Region 4 as a result of the recount. He offered 4 examples where he said the recount numbers match what was provided in the statements of poll on elections night, but varies with the numbers that were tabulated by the returning officer for Region 4.
In ballot box 4062, the statement of poll had indicated 182 votes for ACNU and 43 votes for PPP Civic. The returning officer reported those results as 292 votes for ACNU and 33 votes for PPP. When that box was recounted, the numbers were 182 for ACNU and 43 for PPP, the exact figures that appeared on the statement of poll. I'll give you another one. Box 4063. The statement of poll issued on election night said there were 15 votes for ACNU, 276 votes for PPP. The returning officer declared the results as 85 votes for ACNU and 246 votes for the PPP. When that box was recently recounted, the numbers were 15 votes for ACNU, 276 votes for PPP, exactly as appeared on the original statements of poll.
Mr. Golding said the electoral process up to the close of polls on elections day went well, and the tabulation of results in all of the regions except for Region 4 also went well. He said it was the Region 4 tabulation that delayed and tainted the electoral process. He pointed out that at some stages of the tabulation process, disruptions by GCOM officials raised questions about the transparency of the process. And he also pointed to physical confrontations between the police and officials of a political party at the returning officer's office. The OAS Permanent Council was also told that since its observer team departed Guyana, it has been in contact with the local OAS office and has been monitoring the developments. The OAS has representatives observing the ongoing recount of votes. More news coming up in a moment.
We all want to stay in touch, right? Now, even more than ever before. So to keep your connection strong, GTT is going 2 for 2. Combine GTT mobile and home internet services and we'll give you 2 gigs of free mobile data each month. With 2 GTT services, you're fully connected at home and on the go. Visit us online at gtt.co.gy/2for2 to learn more and start doing more with 2 for 2 from GTT. Stay safe, stay strong, Guyana. We're in this together.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes. Parents and guardians, you are encouraged to tune in to the Guyana Learning Channel, Cable 29 or Channel 42 for daily educational and interactive learning sessions. The nursery program airs from 6 hours to 9 hours. Primary programs from 9 hours to 12 noon. We also air informative documentaries from 12 noon to 13 hours, and our secondary level programs are aired from 13 hours to 15 hours. Please continue to listen to our radio broadcasts. The interactive radio instruction for grades 1 to 3 daily on Voice of Guyana from 9 hours 30 to 10 hours for grade 1 pupils, from 10 hours 30 to 11 hours for grade 2s, and 13 hours to 13 hours 30 for grade 3 pupils. Please remember to tune in to benefit from these educational opportunities. A message from the Ministry of Education.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. You can prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. If you have the following symptoms: coughing, fever, or difficulty breathing, please stay home. If you don't have these symptoms, then practice social distancing. Avoid crowds. When in a group, keep a distance of at least 3 feet between yourself and other persons. Please wash your hands with soap regularly or use hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Welcome back. A group of 5 U.S. senators headed by the chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, James Risch, has written to President David Granger requesting that credible international observers be allowed to return to Guyana to observe the ongoing vote recount. The vote recount, which is currently on the way, is being observed by a number of international and local accredited observer groups, including the Organization of American States and the European Union, with a high-level team from CARICOM scrutinizing the entire process. In the letter to the President, the U.S. Senators James Risch, Marco Rubio, Benjamin Cardin, Robert Menendez, and Tim Kaine said they welcome the recount process and the President's commitment to abide by the results of the recount. But they believe a crucial part of the process is that credible international observers be allowed to return to Guyana and be given free and unfettered access to all aspects of the recount in order to confirm the integrity of the process. The U.S. Ambassador to Guyana had written to the President seeking permission for representatives from the Carter Center and the International Republican Institute to be allowed into Guyana to observe the recount. While the Carter Center is an accredited observer for the elections, the role of the IRI in the elections process was related to voter and civic education for the Elections Commission. The President, through his Foreign Affairs Minister, indicated the health emergency measures that Guyana currently has in place for the coronavirus pandemic. Those measures include a suspension of incoming passenger flights. However, special permission could be granted for special flights, but the Foreign Minister said Guyana's efforts to protect its citizens from disease must be respected. The U.S. senators who wrote the President are hopeful that some accommodation could be made that would allow the teams from the Carter Center and the IRI in. They said while they recognize that Guyana has closed its international airport as part of its efforts to address COVID-19, they also understand that the government is providing special authorization in important cases. They said with full respect for Guyana's public health measures, they are hopeful that the President will consider the presence of additional international observers as an essential step to strengthening the credibility of the recount. The 5 senators said the President's leadership in this crucial moment is crucial to Guyana entering the new era with confidence and hope among all Guyanese for a better future. The President's office has indicated that he has not budged from his position, as articulated in the letter that was dispatched to the U.S. Ambassador from the Foreign Affairs Minister on his behalf. As the recount of votes for Guyana's national and regional elections continues under the scrutiny of a high-level CARICOM team, CARICOM's ambassador to the Organization of American States has declared that CARICOM regards itself as the most legitimate interlocutors in the Guyana situation. Ambassador Noel Lynch made the statement this morning to a meeting of the OAS Permanent Council as it received a report on the elections in Guyana from the OAS Observer Team.
Just as democracy matters to the people of Guyana, so it matters to the Caribbean community, of which the nation of Guyana is a valued member. This is why we of CARICOM regard ourselves as the most legitimate interlocutors in the Guyana situation. We have no interest in which political party wins the election. If each of the political parties genuinely believes that it has won, then they should have no fear of the current recount, and they should all support it.
The CARICOM representative told the OAS Council that CARICOM has been engaged by invitation in the general elections process in Guyana from the beginning. Added that by consent of all parties, CARICOM is scrutinizing the recount of votes in an effort to see a transparent and credible result and the legitimate government elected.
CARICOM's interest is that at the end of the recounting process, democracy must be the winner. CARICOM countries are not merely a group of countries held together by rules. The majority of them are held together by values rooted in centuries of history and fraternity, and in the bitter struggle for their people's rights, including the right to elect governments freely and fairly in a democratic process. If democracy fails in any CARICOM country, it fails in the larger community. If it is imperiled in any part of the community, it is imperiled everywhere in it. As an institution, CARICOM cannot allow this to happen in any member state.
The CARICOM officials said the Guyanese people deserve a credible and transparent process to put into office a legitimate government, and CARICOM will see it through to the end. During his presentation to the OAS Permanent Council, the ambassador also stated that the recount is expected to go beyond the 25-day timeline initially set by the Elections Commission. He said the scrutiny of the ballot by the parties and the physical distancing rules in place as part of the COVID-19 health guidelines are among the factors that may result in that extension of the timeline. The General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Barra Jagdeo, is supportive of the decision to increase the number of workstations for the vote recount. At a press briefing this morning outside the Arthur Chung Convention Center, Mr. Jagdeo emphasized that a declaration of the results must be based on the recount.
We want the recount to be completed. We want it to be done expeditiously, transparently, and whatever the outcome is, there must be a declaration based on the recount.
Jagdeo accused the APNU-AFC coalition of making what he called frivolous objections during the recount process.
We have seen a lot of frivolous reports, and those have been dealt with. Objections from APNU about people who migrated, who they gave a long list of names, and those names are not even on the tick list. That is the mark list. So it's just an exercise, and this, we predicted this before the start of the recount. We said that APNU knows that they lost the elections. They have their statements of poll. They refuse to release the statements of poll because those show that they lost.
The General Secretary for the PPP said it is his view that the National Coronavirus Task Force is being used to slow the process down with its guidelines for physical distancing and the wearing of face masks at the recount center. It was the Guyana Elections Commission that reached out to the COVID-19 Task Force for guidance on the systems that should be put in place in wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Turning now to our health watch, the Public Health Ministry, while continuing to warn citizens about the spread of the coronavirus in Guyana, is also making it known that the battle is not lost. In the past 24 hours, Guyana conducted 34 tests for the coronavirus, and there were no new cases. 2 more persons have made full recovery from the disease, taking the total number of recoveries up to 41. There are still 62 active cases, with 3 of those in the COVID-19 intensive care unit. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Gordon-Boyle today said over 1,000 tests have been completed, with 907 of those tests producing negative results.
As of yesterday, we now have confirmed cases in 7 of our 10 administrative regions. This is the situation that we were trying to avoid when we instituted the guidelines, with a clear understanding that limiting the spread of this disease to as few regions as possible would have guaranteed us a quicker resolution. With this new development, our only hope is that you, our citizens, finally realize that unless you act responsibly, our health system is at risk of becoming overburdened with COVID-19 cases.
Dr. Boyle said citizens must know and understand the importance of following the guidelines from health officials.
The lessons learned from many countries that have managed to slow the rate of infection and contain this disease were either by forceful measures or by the disciplined participation of their citizens to join forces with the government.
And the Public Health Ministry is once again noting the risk being posed to bordering communities with Brazil, as the numbers in the neighboring country have skyrocketed.
On the other hand, what you saw as a reality in the United States of America, Italy, China, and Brazil may become the new reality for us. Of importance to note is that our neighbor, Brazil, continues to have an increase in cases as well as deaths. Please note, over 800 deaths in 24 hours. This increases the risk for Guyana because of the constant unofficial cross-border travel. My dear residents of Region 9, I hope that you are taking note, that you have a very important part to play in protecting the communities bordering Brazil.
Citizens in those bordering communities are being told that they should alert the authorities to the presence of illegal migrants in those communities. Turning now to the tourism sector, Guyana's tourism sector has already lost over $30 billion in earnings for this year already as a result of the coronavirus pandemic and its impact on international travel. Still, the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana is optimistic that the country will be able to make a good comeback when the pandemic is over. In an online interview with NewsSource, the president of the Tourism and Hospitality Association, Mitra Ramkumar, said he believes there will be a silver lining.
The industry will rebound, and so although the cloud is over us now, and it looks as though there is no silver lining, there will be a silver lining, and when it happens, the industry we are expecting a spike in demand, and we are preparing for that spike.
Guyana was listed by a number of international travel magazines and TV shows as the #1 place to visit this year. Hotels and airlines were preparing for a spike in arrival numbers, but all of that changed as airports globally, including here in Guyana, went on lockdown to fight the coronavirus pandemic. Now many hotels in Guyana have been forced to send staff members home as their rooms remain empty and their operations halted. Mr. Ramkumar said the impact has been great, but he believes the fact that Guyana has no great dependence on the tourism industry will work to its benefit.
It has been devastating, to say the least. And you, as you correctly mentioned, we were very excited about this year. It was a tremendous promise. Everything that you mentioned, why Guyana got all these accolades. People were looking forward to visit Guyana. And one of the key ones was we were mentioned as the #1 place to visit in the UK Telegraph. So people, we were really looking forward for a high demand year, and it was going to be challenging in a good way, but we really didn't expect this challenge that we have on our hands now.
The TAC president also said he believes that it will be easy for the local tourism industry to adjust to the new world after COVID-19 with social distancing and other safety measures.
What we are doing is preparing for the future and preparing for the new normal. So what the industry is doing, both TAG and the GTA, is getting ready for when the industry and when Guyana reopens, because it's not going to go back to the normal or the old normal.
Already, he said the tourism industry in Guyana is making adjustments to prepare for the new norm after COVID. Across the region is coming up next.
Wondering how you can access free learning materials for your children? Parents and guardians, please visit the Ministry of Education's website at www.education.gov.gy to access textbooks, past papers, and practice tests to keep your child engaged in continuous learning. When you have accessed the site, go to the Students tab, wait for a second, and choose the appropriate option. You now have access to the resources you need. You are encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity as we strive to provide the best education for the nation's children. A message from the Ministry of Education.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Falls, a trademark of China's Zhanghao Incorporated, located at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, was incorporated in April of 2013 with over $10 billion Guyana dollars invested in a state-of-the-art 100,000 barrel fuel storage facility, a modern service station, an office complex, and a modern wharf that can berth international vessels. Having no association with any other fuel company, Falls imports its own fuel, which meets quality specifications, has all the legal permits, and is in compliance with international requirements. Its bulk facility can load 8 trucks simultaneously at a rate of 1,000 liters per minute, while the service station can service 12 cars at a time using computerized fuel pumps, which can facilitate the use of ATM cards. Through its professional team of mostly Guyanese, Falls wholesales and retails fuels to the public, including farmers and miners, and will continue to positively contribute to Guyana by providing quality products, service, and attractive prices. Try Falls today for all your fuel needs.
Are you washing your hands correctly? Here are some tips on when and how to wash your hands. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water. Step 2. Then apply soap. Step 3. For 10 to 15 seconds, lather your palms together. Always remember to pay attention to your fingers, especially your nails and tips. And don't forget the back and between your fingers. Step 4. Rinse hands with clean water for about 20 seconds. Step 5. Dry hands with a clean paper towel or tissue.
But when should you wash your hands? After using the toilet, before and after eating, preparing or handling uncooked food, after playing with pets or caring for animals, after sneezing and coughing or blowing your nose, before and after changing babies or caring for others.
Frequent hand washing or using a hand sanitizer with alcohol as an alternative will remove viruses and bacteria from your hands.
A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
Across the region right now, member states of CARICOM plan on reopening borders intra-regional travel in the first instance, hopefully by next month. That's according to Grenada's cabinet minister with responsibility for CARICOM, Oliver Joseph. He said CARICOM is discussing whether to first allow regional travel, which includes travel to the islands such as between Grenada and Trinidad or between Trinidad and Barbados, and they are not looking at having international carriers come to the islands just yet. During the virtual meeting, COTED approved a strategy for the reopening of economies in CARICOM. The council is made up of trade ministers and officials, and they agreed to a framework centered on the development and adherence to defined metrics related to the coronavirus, which will guide in the reopening process. Right next door, Brazil has recorded its highest daily rise in the number of deaths from the coronavirus, officials there have confirmed. It registered 881 new deaths yesterday. The total death toll stands at 12,400 in Brazil. It means Brazil, which is now the center of the Latin American outbreak, is now the 6th worst affected country in terms of recorded deaths. And experts say the real figure may be far higher due to a lack of testing in the country. The number of confirmed cases in Brazil currently stands at 177,589. It rose by more than 9,000 for yesterday alone. And finally tonight, international news. The top 3 U.S. airlines have told flight attendants not to enforce a policy requiring passengers to wear face masks. United, Delta, and American Airlines all have policies which state that customers should cover their faces, and employees have been told that they may deny boarding at the gate to customers who do not follow them. However, once on board, the plane flight crew have been advised by the airlines that they should simply encourage passengers to follow the policies rather than enforce them. Airline passengers dropped by 51% in the US in March, resulting in the lowest air travel level in almost 20 years. And that's according to the US Transportation Department. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.